This morning we'll begin with a student chapel talk. Please welcome Christian Hoffmann.
Have you ever thought about how often you disagree with somebody? I personally disagree pretty often with people such as my friends, parents, or my teachers, and I like to speak my opinion out loud. In my opinion, it does not make sense just to think, what is he talking about? That's totally nonsense. State your opinion and try to defend it. I think in the world there are too many people who are arrogant or cocky. Even here in this chapel, there are people who think they are right all the time. They have gotten their self-confidence from people who are just agreeing all the time with them. I like to discuss things with people who think they are right all the time. And I have recognized that some of those people just do not accept that they might be not right this time. Often they react irritably and say, "We can discuss that later," or they say something like, "You can say whatever you want, I have my own opinion." But all those reactions just show how irritated those people are at being contradicted. In Germany, I had a conflict with my English teacher. She was going to tell us our final grade. I went to her desk and asked what my grade is going to be. She told me, "Your behavior is a 6, which is the worst grade in Germany. The best is a 1. And I asked her, "Okay, you say my behavior is a 6, so how's my grade related to how I speak English?" She didn't know. And I asked her, "Are we here in a class where we learn to speak English, or are we here in a class where we learn to behave?" Of course, the question seems to be a little too direct. But actually, you get exactly to the point. But of course, my teacher was totally irritated and confused about the thesis I just put forth about the style of giving grades. She answered, of course, without answering my question, "Christian, if you go ahead with this behavior, I will send you to the headmaster." There is the situation you face when a person has control over you. You are not able to say anything more, but actually you just want to discuss with him or her further. And it's too sad that you are not able to discuss with some people anymore. How else can you make sense out of the world around you? I want to appeal to you. Do not be scared to disagree with somebody. It doesn't matter who it is. Try to explain your opinion, try to defend it, and try to find a compromise. If you just listen all the time and do not speak your opinion out loud, you will not have success in the future. But be careful, because you need to keep your focus all the time just on the conflict and not on the person you are facing. If you do not keep your focus on the conflict, you might get mad at him or her, and then you lose not only the debate, but also a chance to understand something better. Stay professional, use the right words so that you will get respect from the other person, and if you stay professional, the ego of the person who you are facing, you will subside. I'm Christian Hoffmann, and I believe that you should state your opinion as often as you can and try to defend it. And do not just think, speak it out loud. Thanks.
Thank you, Christian. And I just want to follow up on that, coming up on student government elections. And if you've been reading the Caledonian Record about what's happened to town meeting and what will continue to happen to town meetings across the state of Vermont. Town meeting, for those of you not from Vermont and not from the United States, is a tradition in which the people of a town would gather each year and discuss important issues, voting on important issues like the budget for the town or the school district, or how the town will conduct its business. And in St. Johnsbury, this past year, they voted to do away with town meeting and to vote on budgets by Australian ballot, which means you just show up to the polling place and you vote on it. And the reason that it died has a lot to do with what Christian just talked about. People would show up by the hundreds in a town of thousands, would show up by the hundreds, and yet only 3 or 4 would stand up to speak their opinion. Very few of them would stand up in opposition to anything that was being proposed. For fear of ridicule or opposition, I'm not sure why, but very few people would stand up in opposition to anything being opposed. One of my favorite writers is Henry David Thoreau, and he said, "Let each person, let each man speak what kind of government deserves his respect, and that will be the first step towards achieving it." And so what Christian is saying is what might sound like to some as just teenage rebellion is actually a very true fact, what I think is the right opinion in any democracy, that if you have an opinion, it is your duty, it's your obligation as a citizen to speak it. You might not win, but winning's not the point in a democracy, understanding is. And so, Christian, thank you for that great beginning to our morning. Good speech.